Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to K-pop in your cherry. So, hey guys, what's up?
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
I
I think
haven't seen you in
sorry.
what, like 16 hours?
Years.
Yeah,
Something
right,
like that.
right.
We were safe, everybody, by the way. So,
Yes, we wore masks and government-mandated face shields, I guess, if that counts.
and we were outdoors.
We were
We
outdoors.
took Irene and Seulgi on a walk.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
I might
We
want to
did,
like
we
insert that in
did.
the trailer here, which is
By
very specific.
Lido.
Which is very
Oh,
Yes.
specific.
and Lido.
And Lido, yeah. You know, guys,
So much has
Yeah.
happened.
I noticed like everybody has like a theme today. I'm wearing glasses that a certain idol wore. There's a beret PC here. Somebody's wearing yellow, for the bear. There's a deer in blue. Who are we talking about today?
Who could it? Yeah.
Who could it be?
It's a Sunday show.
It's a zoo. It's a zoo part. Sorry.
It's a ooh.
You know, guys, I'm really excited. This is this is the episode I've been looking forward to recording the most. I think that should be very obvious. I'm gonna take off the glasses now because I kind of want to be taken seriously when I talk here. No, but yeah, welcome to the happiness the Red Velvet Spotlight. So the reason why this is called the happiness spotlight is one, the greeting for Red Velvet goes happiness 안녕하세요 Red Velvet 입니다. So that's one.
Yeah.
So
Love
cute.
that.
We got it correct on our first try. I totally didn't try that before we started recording.
Proud.
Second reason is obviously they debuted on August 1, 2014, or August 4, I think was the release of Happiness, their first song, when they were still a four-person group. And we'll talk about the dynamics later, but yeah, this is one of my episodes. I'm super happy, but before we go on, what do you guys expect from this episode? Because I have nothing planned.
Well,
Just fanboy, fangirling. Very excited.
I feel like we're just going to talk randomly and like have no
We're just
whatever.
gonna simp over there.
I feel like Benj is
We're
going to
winging
try
it.
to convince me today to be a stan.
Well, we
of
have
this
one
crew.
thing on the agenda for today.
Woo! Yeah, I saw your post.
It's not complete without an unboxing.
It's not complete
I
without.
feel
Okay.
like it is.
So first of all,
Truly.
I'm going to go get a PC, just to to do the manifestation.
Knock, knock, knock.
Okay. I have a Joy PC right here. All right. So obviously this is Joy's Hello album, the Hello photo book. We're gonna
Don't
first knock.
expect an Irene PC.
That's why we have the Joy PC. Come on. Okay. So first of all, we're gonna do the rituals. We're knocking. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Zim zalabim zim zims. maybe that works. Maybe that works. Or is it la dira do pa ba dira? Okay. Whatever incantation would work. Spoiler alert, those songs are gonna show up in our discussion later, but I'm excited.
Unsurprising.
Unsurprisingly. You know what, guys? This is really... The reason this podcast started is because I discovered Red Velvet in my life, and I got super excited, and I just wanted to talk about them. That's the only reason K-pop in your cherry started. And...
Actually,
Really?
fair.
Yeah.
Alright. Joy photo book. Here we go. Supposed to
Go.
unbox this on stream, but I guess we can stream later. I'm pretty excited for... Oh, you know what? This reminds me of like those old notebooks you get in school, like cause like it has a spiral, then like there's
Yeah.
like pretty pictures and
Oh,
Joy
I
takes
like
really
Oh,
that
good
it's
it's a
pictures.
spiral.
spiral.
It's nice.
Yun nga, I was gonna say I like that it's spiral
It's just so
because
nice. I'm gonna
my thing about photo books is it's hard
So
to
hard to see. Open.
if it's not
Yeah, it's scary to
hardcover,
Yeah.
diba, you're scared you'll break the spine or sometimes the photos get cut in half. So spiral is very nice.
Yeah, I
Love
like
it.
it.
I'm having a hard
Sorry,
time.
my
like,
dog is bothering me. He wants to
We
play.
love your dog.
I wanted
nice
to get
poster.
my
It's
dogs.
kind of cool.
It's-
It's kind of cute.
Oh, it's cute. It's
It's
like a
cute as heck.
scrapbook.
Yeah,
like
I
Joy's,
love the
Joy's
concept.
album's pretty nice. Okay, I didn't get the PC I wanted, but this is pretty nice too.
Very
Yeah, the
cute.
It's very
Seulgi.
cute. I like it. I like how this turned out. So, I didn't get the birthday Newt PC, the one that everybody wanted, but I feel like this is a good one too. So yeah, that is
I'm
it
gonna
for
look
today.
that up.
Dude, swear, it's a really cute one. But yeah,
So I'm
today-
not looking up any pieces of the albums that I'm
Don't.
still about to get.
Of-
don't
Because I
You
don't
should-
want to have
should
like
not.
I
Oh,
want to
and
be
then
enjoying it while I open it.
I know. See that it's so hard to. It's hard to be
Yeah.
me. Wow. No, because I overthink a lot. So I watch unboxings and then I mean, you know what, kanya kanya. Anyway,
Well, okay, so today we're gonna start off this episode. Well, we're just like talking about like why we're here in the first place. So I'm gonna monologue for a bit, just for like
go ahead.
no.
You're
So
free to monologue.
I'm gonna talk about like why we wanted to start this episode. Then later I'm gonna get your first impressions of this group, and then we can talk more about them. But the biggest reason I got into K-pop this year was because of Red Velvet. They weren't the first group I got into. That would be twice. And surprisingly, I was listening to BTS's English releases. So there was a
Well,
point
who
in
wasn't?
time, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't.
No,
You know what?
congrats. She's
Even
not
as
like the
a
other girls.
even as someone that doesn't consider themselves to be a fan, like
Yeah.
they're not bad. Like they're actually super catchy. Like they're not
They
they're more
are.
my kind of music actually. Like I know that that's not what the fan base likes, but for someone with like my weird music taste, it really did resonate with me. So that was my gateway. None of RV songs were ever my gateway, even if I have heard of Psycho before in passing. And I think that's also like this weird thing with RV and promotions, and we'll get to that. It'll be like a 30-minute rant on that. So RV stands, we can all relate to how under promoted our favorites are. But no, the reality is, they weren't my introduction, but they came in at a very difficult and vulnerable point in my life, and I guess that's like the reason why I'm very passionate about this topic, not K-pop in particular, but about Red Velvet, because in these very difficult times in the pandemic and other things, I did find a certain level of happiness. I did find a certain level of happiness and solace by listening to their music, getting to know the members more, learning more about these people that will never know that I exist, collecting their pictures on really expensive pieces of paper, which later we can have a little showcase of that. But yeah, this year was really rough. I think that if you were listening to the podcast in the mental health episode, in the first episode actually, I was opening about my struggles this year and everything that we've been through. And one of the things that has helped me cope, and one of the things that has really helped me survive, is just discovering this group that I had no expectations of. The first time I've ever heard a Red Velvet song that I willingly listened to was with watching the show Startup, because the show Future, and we talked about this before, but the song was called Future, and I was so interested, like, oh, this song is actually super good. Like, it came from an OST. I can't believe it sounds like something I would listen to, and it actually ended up in the top 10 for my Spotify Wrapped. Spoiler alert, probably in December I'll find out that 9 of my 10 would be Red Velvet, and like the 10th would either be Fancy or Next Level. I'm pretty sure that's how it's gonna go right now. But yeah, this has been a really difficult time. But when times were getting hard, I would listen to their music, I would watch their performances late night when I can't sleep, when it's 4 a.m. and like I really have no idea how I'm gonna get there. It's always there. It's comforting, and it's really just the tip of the iceberg. I haven't yet explored all the content, all the lives, all the crackhead moments, all the concerts even, or like all the performances. But there's just something comforting about coming back to this group that honestly has really helped me out over the past year, which is why I'm really excited to talk about these guys. So that is just like why I wanted to do this episode. But I want to get everyone's thoughts from someone who's a new fan like me, someone who's actually known them for longer, and someone who's a fan of other groups that aren't this. So yeah, anyone, feel free to start the discussion. I think Joe wants to start. Oh no, Joe doesn't. My bad.
Okay, I'll go. One of my closest friends from work, I call her my work wife. She's been a Revelove for, I don't know, since 2017 or something, maybe, since
Tamang
I've known
behavior
her.
yan.
Tama. So even at that time when I wasn't into K-pop yet, I already knew about Red Velvet. So probably after knowing about Blackpink, I knew about Red Velvet. So I knew their songs a little bit. When we would eat samgyup or bingsu, we'd be watching the videos and she'd point out if it's them. So I've always, not always, but I've known about them for a bit. It wasn't until I got into K-pop through another group that I really paid more attention. And then that's when I got to appreciate, well, everything more, their concept, their artistry, their vocals, so good. And I mean, what can I say? I like the colors, I like the outfits, I like all of it. So I feel like I tell you guys often whenever I see you unboxing or when I see your merch bench, I'm always thinking like the concept art of their albums and stuff, it that's exactly the kind of thing that appeals to me. So as in that's why I love watching your unboxings and stuff, because I'm like it's so pretty. But yeah, although I think the first song that I really paid attention to from them was Psycho. I mean, who didn't, right? Who could ignore that, honestly, right?
Apparently me, because when I kept hearing that song,
Apparently
I
you.
didn't even know. Like I was like,
Oh
ah,
my
wait, it's
gosh.
K-pop. Like ah.
Not for me. No, even back then when I wasn't into K-pop yet, I really liked the song. Well, that's I guess that's because I'm into those that kind of concept, the slightly unhinged in love vibe. I'm into that, so I really really like that. What about you guys? Let's hear
Yep.
from the other. Yeah, how about our veteran K-pop stan?
Lol, dude, you shouldn't have like called me. I was eating a while ago.
I'm sorry, like your hand
Was it
motion was
true?
like
I saw you
I was
like
like you're like me
I
me
me.
said,
me me.
Oh, okay.
not me. I'm eating. Anyway, okay. Anyway, um, when did I first find out about Red Velvet? I'm not actually sure, but
You knew
they've
them
been
as SM
in.
rookies.
Yeah, I mean, they've been in my periphery like long before, cause I've seen. Sometimes I just watch random videos of, I don't know, people. No, but really, cause I'm a fan of TVXQ. They're from SM. So is Super Junior. So sometimes I watch um videos like variety shows, and sometimes dance practice videos, and then I just I see stuff like I remember seeing SM Rookies, NCT as SM Rookies, and Red Velvet as SM Rookies. I think it was Seulgi and Irene. They danced to, is it Be Natural? I'm not sure. The,
I
the, the
think it
one
was
with the
Be
chairs.
Natural. Yeah, that's Be
Yeah,
Natural.
that's Be Natural. I
The
remember
choreo's
them
so good,
dancing
by
to
the
it.
way. When I watched
Yeah.
that, ang ganda.
Mm-hmm. And I've come across Wendy, was it Wendy, having a cover of Taylor Swift, but I wasn't a full on fan, but I was like, oh, they're interesting. Probably gonna be famous when they debut and stuff, especially since they're SM, and they've got a great combination. And then later on, when did I remember hearing like Rookie, Ice Cream Cake, especially since I played what's that, the game SM Town something. What
Superstar
do you call?
SM Town.
Yeah, Superstar SM Town. Still, and the thing is, you can't control which cards you get, right? I usually got, for some reason, I don't know why, I usually got really great Red Velvet like cards and stuff. So I was like, oh, this is interesting. So I'd play their songs because I'd get higher scores. And then that's when I came across a lot of other songs. It was it Peekaboo in 2017. Like, yeah, that, and then those songs. That's why I think I even came across some B sides. Just, I'm not sure. Just songs that were in Superstar SM Town. I remember coming across those, and I'm like, oh, I like this. But I didn't really, what do you call that? I didn't really seek them out, which surprised me when I was like, doing the homework for this episode. Because I didn't realize that I've watched all their music videos already. I mean, I think of myself as a casual fan, but it surprises me that I know a lot of things about them. And I remember, chatting
I think
Benj
you know
last
more
night.
than me.
I'm not sure, but I remember chatting Benj last night about I was saying, I cannot stand for this rose erasure, and he was like, huh? I'm like, dude, it's a duet between Taeyong and Seulgi. I'm like, where is it? Why isn't it in your playlist? So I don't know. Am I a fan? I'm not sure. I know I like them, and if I see them, I'd watch them, but I don't seek them out.
Seek them out is the word. Uh, Mia. Red Velvet. I wouldn't be calling myself a casual listener
Tell
yet.
them who
I
you
don't know.
stand. Because, with
Not
girl
now.
groups sometimes. Not now.
This is
'Cause you
Benja's
know how there's
show.
Yeah, no, but I mean, diba, there's that, like,
It's like white maroon or
stereotype of
something.
nag-aaway-away.
But
Anyway.
from their generation, I am and a boo boo.
Fan war.
No fan wars
No,
here.
no,
just
no. We
love.
are guys like fan wars. Like I know I love my group, but like if you like other groups, come on, man. We're already stigmatized by other people as it is. Why are we gonna fight within ourselves, pa? Diba? Like that's
Yeah,
dumb.
let's not. It's dumb. Let's just support each other. Support. But
No, tell that to
um,
my fandom.
Red Velvet. I think some of them guessed it over in Running Man. Though I'm not entirely sure. I guess they weren't memorable to me. I'm sorry to say. Sorry to say, but then I usually just have a single focus when it comes to K-pop. So during that time, probably I was just a blank. So I couldn't I didn't care about other groups that much. So yeah, and then on Produce, they performed one group performed Peekaboo. That was the first time I watched a Red Velvet music video. Peekaboo. So and that was the first time I listened to the song, to one of their songs. I mean, I hear it like when my sister plays K-pop, but their songs weren't that it wasn't sticking to me. But Peekaboo definitely stuck. So, and I think one of the trainees like Sakura really loves Red Velvet. Am I right, Benj? It's Sakura, right? Yeah, she
Dude,
keep on mentioning them.
there's a video of Sakura crying because like Irene was talking to her, and I'm just like, this is like I stand you
Yeah,
now, like I like you now.
she's a super fan of
Super
them.
mood. Same naman. If Irene talked to me, I would die.
I think if
I
Irene
would
just looked at
freeze.
I would
us,
faint.
would be she looked at oh, but like I that's why I just started listening to Red Velvet during the start of this K-pop in your cherry because fans would be putting them on the playlist, would be mentioning them. So I'm still not convinced to be more than a listener bench. Maybe this episode would convince me. We'll see.
You know, guys, that's a very interesting point because I feel like that's a good dynamic with how Red Velvet actually works as a group. But first of all, you mentioned Peekaboo. I really just wanted to point out that I was showing the album a while ago. The CD is a pizza, like from the music video. I thought that was pretty fun. And it's like these little things that make me like them so much, right? Like I feel like there's these little touches that make me think, like I don't know, it's like there's so much care being put into the product, and that really makes me feel like super rewarded as a fan. But that's the thing, and I feel like I've noticed this with with the Red Velvet fandom with Reveloves. We're not as noisy or as numerous as, let's say, Onces or Blinks or even Mice from Espa or even Sones. Yeah, so we're a very subdued fandom. I'd like to say that there aren't any toxic fans, but let's be real, that's probably not the case. There will always be toxicity everywhere you go, but see, that's the thing I've noticed about RV. It's that nobody can doubt that they're talented and that they're good at what they do, but there are very, very few people compared to like other fandoms that are really, really, really ride or die with these people. And like, I'm one of them, and I'm happy about it, but I fully understand why. Like sometimes other fandoms would just get more, more of the support from more fans. And I'm not gonna claim like I'm not sad about it because I really feel like we should be a bigger fandom. I'm also not gonna claim they've done everything they can to be promoted because SM is really bad at promoting them. But it's this weird thing. Like there's a lot of people that I like RV, but not enough to really get into it, which for me is something I've grown to accept as being part of this fandom, but something that I hope that more people would at least try broaden their horizons when it comes to this group. I've read like in like a few fan forums that it's not that we don't have passionate fans, it's just we don't have fans that are as passionate about voting, about streaming, which is kind of sad because in this very capitalistic reality of K-pop, that is how success is measured. But for me, I've just come to reconcile that if the music makes sense to me, if I love this music, then numbers shouldn't matter. There's still gonna be, at the end of the day, I hope that they're proud of whatever they've achieved because even if they're not the most successful or most popular, to me they are, which is all that matters to me, right?
Yeah, that's what matters. Is the it's the connection they make with people, right? And I say that as someone who I belong to a fandom where a lot of a lot of what gets talked about is the numbers and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's always going to be the connection. And I actually like how even with the few interactions that I've seen from Reveloves on Stan Twitter, you guys do seem more chill, which I really appreciate. Or maybe that's just because the people I've seen or the people I know who are fans are around their age group or older. So that's something I really appreciate because I do like how it's chill. It's easier to talk about stuff that way. So I like the fandom. Not that I know that much yet about it.
Yeah. I feel like that's also like and this is where we're gonna start talking about like how I feel the music goes. I wanna talk about the members and the music, like probably in the same mold, because I feel like this is the area of knowledge I have the most in. And then like if you guys have inputs, like I'd like to hear your thoughts about this because you guys have listened to a few songs. I made like 5 playlists like yesterday, like, and like guys, most of my playlists are ranked in a certain way. I really took my time to really curate playlists, not according to feel, but like to rank or chronological order. So yeah, but so I'm just gonna go start off with like why I really like them as as a group. Like what is it about them that I really latched onto? And I feel like when it comes to this group, the first thing that would really come to mind is the music. This is the group that made me open my eyes to like listening to more K-pop. Like I've tried the other groups I mentioned, but I gave some of their songs a passing listen and they were okay. Like I didn't feel compelled to press the rewind button. I mean, now I kind of do. Like I do search for other sources or I do search for other artists. But like before it was, okay, I like this title track. Okay, I love Fancy by Twice. I'm gonna listen to Fancy on repeat like 100 times. But I never felt compelled to like go search into them more. But then when I listened to Red Velvet, I think it was because of the jarring shift in how different the sound is. Like the playlist that you go to on Spotify, I think it starts off with Psycho. Well, before, it started off with Psycho. And like when I finally appreciated the fact that, I got past the fact that it's K-pop, it was a really good song. I think you cannot find any K-pop stan that will tell you that Psycho is a bad song. I feel like it's universally up there as one of the best songs in the genre. And for good reason, right? Like the vocals are there, the melody is there, like everybody was at their strong suit. But then the next song I heard was, I think it was either Red Flavor or Power Up or something. And it was like, wait, this is completely different from what I was listening to before. Like, so there was like that jarring shift. And in my mind, I was like, I wasn't bored. Like it was, I can't wait to see what comes next. And then the playlist kept going. There was In and Out, which is one of my favorite B-sides. There was Bad Boy, which everybody loves. There's even Zimzalabim, which a lot of people didn't like and were warning me when I first tweeted out, is it too late to get on the Red Velvet bandwagon? One of my K-pop friends was like, yeah, just like, but wait until you get to Zimzalabim, like this you can stop there. And I was like, wait, there's nothing wrong with the song. I really like it. It's kind of weird, but it's kind of strange, but I like it, to quote Wendy from Written in the Stars. But yeah, there's like a lot of about their discography. So I was listening to the title tracks and I fell in love with it. My favorite is actually also like some of yours. It's actually Peekaboo. So the fact that I have this physical copy means a lot to me because I have a copy of like the song that I will always consider my favorite song in K-pop by my favorite group. What really hooked me in was getting into the deep cuts. Well, not the deep cuts, the B-sides. And I feel like this is where their strong suit really comes in. When you talk about Red Velvet's discography, when you talk about them as artists, you can't deny that past their title tracks, they have some of the strongest B-sides that I honestly think could pass off as title tracks. tracks such as Look, Butterflies, So Good, Pose, so many songs to list. I feel like, and it just shows the diversity of who they are as artists. Like the reason they're called Red Velvet supposedly is because they represent two sides. Red, which is supposed to be more energetic, it's supposed to be more poppy, and Velvet, which is supposed to be more mature, darker R&B style concepts. For me, it's why I felt like I couldn't really latch onto the existing groups because they were all just girl crush, or they were all just cute concepts, or they were all just sticking to one idea. And I feel like with my musical taste being the varied spectrum that it is, like the guy who listens to Linkin Park but also likes Carly Rae Jepsen and listens to Lorde, that also listens to Lana Del Rey, listens to Metallica, like I have a wide spectrum of music. So for me to find a group that didn't exactly adhere to one side of the spectrum but was able to capture a large side really appealed to me. And I feel like the more I listen to the music, the more I watch the performances, I think that's the weird thing for me. I know that performances are very ingrained in K-pop. That's why everybody loves very strong dance lines. And it's not that I don't appreciate it, but I will be one of the first people to admit that RV's dance line isn't the strongest. But it's not exactly like a detriment to them. Like, because I'm not there just to watch people dance. I'm there to listen to the vocals, first and foremost. I think that's really why. So that is like my journey musically, and I'm not entirely sure if you guys have any thoughts that disagree with me on that or agree with me. So, what did you guys think about like my 30-minute monologue on vocals? Because in discography.
I agree. They have very strong vocals. That the friend I was telling you about, my wife, my work wife, that's what she always says is it's the vocals that pull her in first. And I agree, they have very strong vocals. You know what, I'm not a dancer kasi. So anyone who can move, for me, ang galing na niyan. So I'm not the person to like to critique that or whatever. But I also really agree with you about the B-sides. Like, listen, their title tracks are great, right? I was going over the playlist, the list that you sent, and there was nothing that I didn't like. As in, there was nothing that I was like, ay, hindi ko gusto. But then, um, the B-sides, I don't know, they're so good. And I think that's also something that pulls me in or draws me to certain artists are okay, you have like a really catchy title track, but then when you go in deeper, it's usually the B-sides that pull me in. Like, even with my fave groups and whatever, I've realized that my favorite songs from them are actually B-sides, not the title tracks. I think it's the same for RV. I really enjoyed, because you gave us homework, so I really enjoyed going over the B-sides. I just looked for like playlists of like, okay, Red Velvet B-sides, and I was just playing it, and they're great. You guys know that I like interesting sounds, right? Like weird sounds or like high energy stuff. They have a lot of that, and I really love that. Oh, fangirling.
You know, like I
I
called my
think
playlist Immaculate B-sides.
Immaculate. You know what? It's accurate. Immaculate, accurate.
Love it.
like I get where Benj is coming from, because if I have a group that also delivers much more than just a girl crush for me. So I understand where he's coming from, because variety does come in. Like, it surprises you, honestly, like how much a group can do actually. Like, not just sticking to one kind of concept, one kind of genre, the exploration. So I'm sorry, I only listen to Rabbit Festival. Is it that get the title right? Yeah, the
Yeah,
one, the
because we
album
gave
that you
you
gave
because we
me.
gave you the album yesterday and you
Yeah,
listened to
you
it in
gave
your
me the
car.
and I listened to it a while
Be
ago
friends with
just
me,
to make
guys.
sure.
I give you guys album.
That's why, and I listened to it again just to be sure that I really do listen to them, and to make sure that because you gave us homework, but I didn't have that much time, so I only listened to that album fully, so that at least I could say that I listened to one Red Velvet album. And yeah, their pieces are actually really great and very varied when you think about it. It's from Psycho, and then you go in and out, and then my choice would be Bing Bing and La Rouge. Oh, La Rouge. Very good. Love that song, really. Perfect ending for that album, really, for me. So, maybe a little bit convinced right now, but
I feel like I know your type. Like with what I know, with the songs and the artists I know you listen to, a good opening hooks you in. That's why like
yes,
La Rouge got you, because like it starts off really strong with like a really heavy
really,
bass note, and like when the first bass note hit, like we were in our, like you were driving, you were like, Benj, what is this? And I was like, oh, it's the last song, it's La Rouge, and it was like, I like this, and like you didn't even hear the rest of the song, you just heard the first note. So
yeah,
I
the first
feel
note hooks me in, or like somewhere in the middle when something like because we were talking right while we were playing the album. So if I hear if something suddenly like pops in the middle, like and I like it, it means I really do like it because I heard it even though we were talking. So those two songs really.
yeah, that makes sense. I feel like in some of the playlists I made, again, I think this is also like the diversity of our taste ourselves. Because if I were to ask somebody rank your favorite songs from this artist, I probably feel like we'd all have different ranks. Because I really tended to favor more very upbeat, very vocal heavy songs actually. But noted on like the very like good intros or like exciting moments like that, yeah, we can find those. Like I think some of them are in my B side playlist.
Yo. Okay, so huh. I like vocals. I mean, guys, my alt is TVXQ. Like, guys. So I do really love vocals and trying out different genres, and it's so weird the eyebrows are moving. Like, can you see it? Anyway, yeah. And so yeah. So I like strong vocals, strong in the sense that they're good at what they're supposed to do. Um I like groups that tried a lot of different genres. I like variety, and I am very into ballads. It's my thing. I don't know why. I'm into ballads, and I like when
Should I have given you Reve Festival or like water?
nah, it's cool, man. But like I like it when they're able to showcase their vocals, not only the high whatever parts, and but also being emotional, like showing emotion through singing. So I think that's why I'm drawn by Red Velvet, because I think they really have great songs, but I haven't really explored their discography enough to see like my favorite ballads. I guess. I mean, from the B sides, I chose one of the B sides I chose was a vocal heavy one. I think a lot of them were. Yeah. So later I'll talk about it later. But yeah,
Yeah,
I really do like
we're gonna
vocals
talk
and
songs a lot
ballads.
later after members, but yeah. Go on, Evan.
Speaking of vocals, okay, I know that out of all of them, of course, Wendy will stand out, and she did stand out to me when I realized who was singing those high notes in Psycho. I was like, so that's why Bench really like her because really those high notes
See, it's
gave
Wendy.
me like goosebumps. Give me goosebumps, really.
For
So
now,
defensive
it's Wendy.
naman.
We'll
Defensive.
talk about this dynamic later. Or actually, we can talk about it now. I'm really glad that you guys are open to listening more to them, because honestly, I feel like as someone who's a fan of them, it's not like I want more people to be fans, but like I hope that somebody is as touched as I was when I first listened to them, like, and had that same effect. I'm sure we've all had our groups, but like there was something really that hit me with this particular group. So for me, I think the first thing to do now is, my assumption when I talk about them is that most people probably know what I'm talking about or knew who I'm talking about, but for the benefit of whoever came here because I told them this is my favorite group, I'm going to be super passionate, I'm going to talk about them so much, I'm going to just talk about quickly each member, and I will visually represent them. So first of all, the leader of Red Velvet is Irene, Beju Hyun. This is one of my favorite cards, yeah. So Irene is one of the oldest, actually in third gen. She's actually older than some second gen idols because she started late, but I don't think that really hindered her ability to perform in any way. Because she is, as Psycho says, the original visual, and yes, she is. I don't think there's any doubt. But aside from being one of the best visuals and one of the best leaders in K-pop girl groups, I really think that she's really underrated as a singer and a dancer, as she has shown in her solo work and her work with Seulgi on their subunit. One of the songs I've listened to extensively so much right now is a song by I think a DJ or a producer called Raiden. It's called The Only, and it's only Irene. I was like, at first I was skeptical because I know Irene as a rapper because that's her main role in RV. I first heard the song like a few months ago when I was starting, and I was like, oh, okay, all right. And then like one day I was like, when I was getting into my collection phase and collecting but when I was getting into it, I was like, I wonder, like, am I really just in this because I like the way that she looks? So I listened to The Only again and again and again and again. Like, I think like Spotify had registered that I'd listened to this very same song so many times that when I checked my tracker, it was my second most played song for the past 6 months, and I was like, I listened to the song 3 days ago. But yeah. There's this weird pull. I don't know what it is about it. Like, I'd like to claim all the time that Wendy is my bias, but most of the time I feel like it's really Irene. Like, no, I will continue to defend that it's Wendy, but I don't know, like, I don't think it is anymore.
It's like, it's if people didn't know you or hadn't talked to you, just like, oh, who do you think my bias is? 100% people would say it's Irene, obviously.
Gee, I wonder
Benj,
why.
I'm so thankful that you are actually coming to terms with the truth right now.
No, we will continue to discuss this, but no, okay, so since we are talking about the members, yeah, so aside from the fact that I've been really getting bias wrecked hard by Irene, I collect a lot of her cards, which is not a cheap thing to do, but I think like one of the things that you will see in their dynamics is this very motherly presence. In a lot of the videos where you see their interactions, it's this weird thing where they joke that Irene's the mom of the group, but then she'll actually do something like, I don't know, she was ironing the team's clothes, or she always says that, oh, like Yeri, the youngest of the group, they've known her since she was in elementary school. They fed her, they took care of her, and like there's this really like motherly thing that I see within the group that I really appreciate whenever it comes to Irene and the rest of the group. That's, I don't know, like I feel like that level of taking care of the members is something that I really like seeing. I think it's just that closeness between all 5 of them that I really do appreciate. But yeah, so first member I wanted to talk about was Irene. I hope I didn't talk about her too much because she's not really my bias. I swear. But yeah. So the next one is Seulgi. So also a cute card for her. Seulgi is who I would call the ace of 3rd gen. If Wendy wasn't in RV, she would literally be one of the best vocalists in 3rd gen. But since she also shares the same group with the best vocalist in 3rd gen, if not one of the, it's a bit hard because like she's lead vocal, but she is main vocal worthy. And you can see in a lot of the songs as well, she shines. In Psycho, like you can hear Wendy's high notes, but Seulgi's like very warm notes really do a good contrast to how the song works, and I feel like that's why it works so well. Aside from that, like she's also legitimately one of the best dancers in 3rd gen, which is crazy to think about because she trained and auditioned to be lead vocal or main vocal, and she's developed into one of the best dancers in 3rd gen, right? Which is crazy. But I feel like the thing I love most about Seulgi is that there's this thing that they call the duality. Seulgi is like one of the biggest, like the strongest presences on stage. You can see this so much in their performances. Like if anybody stands out, it's going to be Seulgi because she just brings that aura of like girl crush even. Like she's just such a strong personality. But then outside, you meet Dudulgi in her interactions with the other members, or in her own show. She has a radio show on Naver called Seulgi.zip, and she's legitimately one of the most adorable people that I have ever seen. So that duality for me is like why I feel like she's slowly becoming my bias wrecker. But actually, I want to get your thoughts on this because Bon, you recognize Seulgi.
Yes. She was the first member of Red Velvet that I recognized by face. I guess she does have that girl crush vibes because I recognized her as the resident girl crush. Host, my dog. Okay. So yes, Sulgi. And then when I listened to their live performances, there was this instance where she didn't have a mic break, where she was given one. That's when I
It was
realized.
Rookie. Yeah.
Yeah, Rookie. She was, and that's when I realized she is a really good vocalist, main vocal worthy, lead vocal worthy, whichever. And yeah, she dances really well now that I think about it. And she's so pretty, and her color is yellow. So I think if I were to stand Red Velvet, I would be biasing Seulgi.
You know, that's a good compromise. I feel like we can get there to that point. But yeah. So now I want to talk about my actual favorite member. I'm not BSing this now. This is my actual favorite member of the group. It's Wendy. So Wendy is the main vocalist, and I feel like out of all the members, I resonated the most with her because one, I love vocals, and if you've heard her predominantly through tracks in Red Velvet or her own solo work, I feel like one thing that people don't talk about is just how good her technique is. Like, a lot of people are strong singers, they have very strong vocals, but sometimes it's not like subdued, sometimes it's too powerful for its own good. I feel like in this case, it's knowing when to use your high notes, knowing when to use a deep voice, knowing what kind of voice to use where. I think that's Wendy's strengths. And one of the videos I linked to you guys was when they were recording Queendom vocals, and then Wendy was actually acting like a vocal coach to Irene, and like telling her, this is how you pronounce this is how you like sing this time. And it really just shows like how much she understands, like how pure of a singer she is. It's also the fact that she speaks like very fluent English, having grown up in the US and Canada. I think that's why I'm also like drawn to that. And she just, I feel like one of the most talented people. She can actually rap, and it's not like super seen in any of their songs because they already have three very good rappers, but she's actually super good at that. So Wendy has always been my bias ever since I got into Red Velvet. It's always her lines in all of the songs. And in terms of personalities as well, she's like one of the most. I'm struggling to think of the English word for this, but like the word I'm thinking of is makulit. Like one of the members that I feel like is like an endless, like a boundless source of energy, and I feel like that rubs off. So here I want to ask Jo, what do you think? Because you also, I think, are a Wendy stan. Jo.
Banana.
I have to edit this.
No.
Oh no, she's lagging, isn't she?
Yeah. Speaking of Wendy.
What's going on? My internet sucks, and like it's raining hard. I can't really hear you guys.
Same. No, I just wanted to like, what are your thoughts on Wendy since you're the
Oh
Wendy
no,
bias here?
it's lagging again.
Oh
Wait,
no.
I hate this.
Yes, it's
Wait,
raining
wait.
where we are.
You know, okay, so while Jo tries to get her internet connection, I think one of the reasons why I really like Wendy also as an artist is surviving what she's gone through. If you're not a fan, or like if you don't know, Wendy suffered like a terrible accident on the stage of SBS, like which is basically one of the biggest media corporations in Korea, where due to unsafe conditions in their staging area, she fell like a few stories. I want to say like 2 stories or so, but I don't really know like the exact details, but she had a huge fall. Like her face was
Oh.
broken, her hip was broken, like, and it was scary because it was dark and she didn't see and she just fell. And that's part of the reason why RV had a huge hiatus, because they had to wait for this person to recover. They weren't sure if she was gonna dance again because she broke her leg, but she recovered and she's doing so well. She has her solo album, she has her own show, SBS Young Street. Weirdly, SBS also, but like, yeah, she has her own radio show, and I feel like that's one of the most entertaining pieces of non-K-pop media I've been consuming recently. And yeah, like just surviving that and coming back stronger, I feel like is a story that I really appreciated. But yeah, Jo, if you're back, what do you like about Wendy since you're the Wendy stan too?
Yo. Am I back? Am I laggy? Is this good? Okay, it's good. Okay, speaking of that fall, I think what happened was there was a gap, like from the entrance thingy, because she was supposed to be like high up. for the entrance for the song and something, and then there was a gap, and she didn't see because it was dark, and then she fell, which is why it's negligence in the part of SBS, because they should have they should have checked it, made sure, stuff like that. Anyway, okay, so why did I like Wendy? I'm not sure actually. I was just drawn into her. I mean, not to be mean, but like when I first, come across Red Velvet, it was always Irene. Like you're always bombarded with Irene. And I felt that she was, not to be mean again, but I felt that she was being overrated at the time. So I wanted, okay, but now I know, like,
Don't
no,
say
she's
that
not.
about my mommy.
I'm sorry, but like,
You're wearing the
know,
beret right now.
I understand, Jo. I
Oh,
do.
just kidding.
like, cause
Oh my
you're
gosh.
bombarded, but like everything's about Irene. When you see articles, when you see in like Stan Twitter, it's gonna be like Irene, 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 and then like, yes, I understand she's really pretty. I understand that she's a really capable idol. But I wanted to highlight someone else from the group, and then I was drawn into Wendy because vocals again, and I felt like she was underrated at the time that I started coming across them. I'm like, people don't really talk about her, and I found her really
They
pretty.
really should. Like in Happiness, like their debut,
Right?
she was
Yeah,
probably
that's
the
what I
real
was
visual.
going to talk about because like she captured my attention when I watched Happiness, and then I remember like wondering why people didn't talk about her, and then there were issues like, oh, because Wendy's like this, Wendy's like that. I'm like, but bro, what? So yeah,
I would
it's
say if it's
weird.
like the cutest member, I would say it's Wendy. Like not even like in terms of visual, I think in personality, like she's the most bubbly in
Yeah,
personality, which I feel like,
yeah. I think
right?
that's one of it, right? She's just so upbeat. I think that's the word, upbeat and like happy, and like she was so nice even after the SBS fall and stuff. And everyone's like, how can you be that nice with what they've done to you? I'm like, this girl is different. Which is, I think, why I like her.
No, I agree, which is why no matter how many times I will say, oh, Irene, or like whatever, no, it's still Wendy. I swear. Like, there's a very soft spot for me for just how much she's gone through and what she's done. And I think for all the members, like, so for the dynamics of the members, like, they live in Korea with their parents sometimes, but Wendy's parents live in Canada. And like recently also they had to go back to Canada, but they were there to help her recover. Recently she had to say goodbye. I think that was last week. So like the sentiment is, oh, she's alone again because like the girls don't live together anymore also. So like for me there's also like that soft spot of like the fact that she uprooted her life in the US or in Canada because she was in Minnesota at that time, but yeah, to become an idol. Like she was destined to become an idol, and she's worked really hard to get that. And like no matter what happened, like the fact that she fell from a really great distance physically, and she recovered and got so much better, got even more gigs, and is still like a huge part of the group that I love. I think that's why, like, no matter how many PCs of Irene I'll ever collect, I think it's still gonna be Wendy. See, I hope that solves the answer. I hope that answers your questions. Meg has some like violent remarks. You're like,
No, I accept. Wendy's so cute, honestly. She's so cute. I want to keep her in my pocket. But she's probably taller than me. But somehow I feel like I could keep her in my pocket.
she's probably not. She's like one of the shortest idols.
I'm very short. Come on.
Actually, I know you're
We're
just
all
because
Bro,
short
we're
then.
below
Oh,
5 feet.
so I'm sorry. Oh
I'm
no, height
5'8".
reveal.
I'm 5'8",
Height
guys.
reveal.
We're below 5 feet bench. So like it's
But-
I remember
like,
that
we
instance,
know.
Benj.
But
Like, we were
Wendy's
telling you-
vibe is I can keep her in my pocket. She's so cute. I want to
but-
protect her.
If
Okay,
ever I
I
get
haven't-
into a... No, sorry, you go.
I
you
didn't
go.
know her personality yet, so maybe you
Super
could send me
cute.
like a crackhead video or something of
I
theirs.
have lots.
So
there
I'll
will
see
there will
it.
be a separate playlist. Because last night I was just
Or
making a
maybe
musical
not.
playlist.
No, yeah, share it.
I think like if ever I get lucky enough to get into a fan sign, that's who I will 100% go for. I mean, aside from the obvious logistical thing of she speaks English, it'll probably be so much easier. No, it's like I'm really inspired by that story, and if there's gonna be like a Wendy 2, or a Wendy Solo 2, or a Red Velvet 3, or whatever, and there's a fan sign, I'm really gonna go all in for that because yeah, that she's really my bias, guys. So the fourth member we can talk about is Joy, Park Soo Young. There's like one of the nicest things I know about Joy is that she has this super fan that like wherever they go, he will always yell, when you smile, I'm always happy. It's like one of the most wholesome things I've ever seen. But no, I think like with Joy, really, I think I would say she's kind of underrated in the sense that a lot of people like know her as a visual, but because she's also like very, pretty as well in her own right. But I think one of the things I love the most about Joy is that her evolution as an artist. She started as the rapper, crazily enough. Like in the first few songs, she's actually the rapper. It's not Yeri at this point. It was Joy. But weirdly enough, like she got so much better at vocals, and she was just the sub vocal, but she's very lead vocal material, and it becomes more apparent in songs like Psycho and her own solo tracks Hello. And in one of the playlists I even included, she's part of the Hospital playlist, season 1 soundtrack or OST. She's really grown so much that she used to be like this awkward little, like she used to be like an awkward child, like she was like so young, and now she's like honestly stunning. And like, I mean, her nickname is Sexy Dynamite. Like again, like the evolution and the growth is one of the things that you admire most about Joy. But yeah, like she's really grown to be like the baby of the group. To wow, who is this person? And I don't know if like you guys have noticed that too, but I think the turning point for me was Peekaboo.
Yeah, the rainbow dress. Yeah. Okay, so as someone who's seen them before, like rewatching their MVs last night, I was shocked with like how baby she was in Happiness. Cause I was rewatching and I was like, oh, she's so cute. She was like baby. I just can't explain it. It's just she was a baby and then she was rapping. And then I remember her being a guest at Running Man. She was cute in Running Man. And then there was an episode with them having guests that could what do you call that? There was competitions with like some of the members. I remember hers was with Jihyo, with how fast they would fall asleep. And like she's so fast with how she falls asleep, and I'm like, what's so adorable? And then there was the peekaboo era, the rainbow colored dress. It was short. I was like, can she dance in that? But like you can see how she was super like I was gay for Joy in that era. I'm like, whenever I
No
saw
judgment,
her,
I swear.
like, I swear, whenever I saw her during that era, like, may it be fan cams or gifs or like photos, I stop and look at her. Cause I'm like, that's so weird. It's like, this wasn't the girl from Happiness. This girl's like, wow. And then, that was a thing. A lot of people were like, oh, this girl with the rainbow colored dress and how she was dancing. It was a thing in Stan Twitter at the time. And I'm like, wow. She was really, really, I don't know. She's just hot, I swear.
The Carly Rae dress. Diba? Diba
Yes,
Carly Rae?
yes,
Right,
yes.
the Carly Rae rainbow
Exactly.
dress. Exactly.
No, I mean I get you.
Yes.
Like I was looking for the right word, but of course, like I wanted like you to say it instead of me, because like if you guys say it, it's admirable. If I say it as a guy, it sounds kind of creepy.
Nah.
There was this performance of theirs na I watched like a stage, wasn't sure, but it was with Peekaboo. She was wearing a red dress, with the sleeves and very tight fitting, and I was like, wow, really,
I
the
swear,
word
Right?
joyous was
she does
hard.
that. Like I feel like that's why I didn't notice her like before, because like it was such like a huge 180, like from the baby of the group to like what she turned into. It was crazy.
I didn't know
That's
this
what
one Irene,
happens
because
when
I
you're
started with
just-
Peekaboo.
Just
So
yeah.
she was
Ah,
a
so
baby.
if you go backwards, yeah. Crazy.
And see like, oh, this baby.
Yeah, I swear, like it's a very since I didn't do my like title tracks ranked in chronological order, that might have been like such a huge, like weird thing. But I did my top 12 in chronological order. That's where you guys can probably see it. Uh, yeah.
Okay, okay.
The last member I want to talk about is Yeri. So the weird thing about RV is that, but it's like one of the rarer PCs. Just saying. Anyway, one of the weird things about Yeri is she joined the group late. Like they debuted in August 2014. She wasn't there. They were a four.
Yeah.
They were a four-person girl group.
Wait, was she supposed to be in another group? I feel like
No, she was still
or
a
no.
trainee at SM, but like
Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
they didn't debut.
But
her
she's in
yet.
the Happiness
She's
music
in the
video, like
Happiness
one
music
of the
video.
extras.
It was a cameo
right?
there. And then like there's this
Yeah.
thing that she showed up when they were recording Ice Cream Cake. They had this big video. It was a very short video, but it's so adorable. You could see their interactions where they were introducing
Yeah,
this
they were
new member.
introducing her.
It was Yeri, and then like she was running, she was expecting to get hugged, but no, they were just smacking her.
Yeah, I
It
remember.
was so dumb. And then yeah, she showed up for Ice Cream Cake, and I feel like weirdly enough, a lot of people don't like Yeri for some weird reason. I don't know why. That's why like I feel
There
like
are
Yeri.
purists.
No, come on, like she made the group better. I will not imagine this group with just the four of them. Yeri just fills that niche that really completes them. I say this as someone who's not a huge Yeri supporter. I'm very protective of her when people like trash talk her.
Yeah.
Because like she didn't deserve that kind of hate for
She's
just
a
for joining
baby
the
and
group
people
late.
are like,
Like but that just showed like what she brings to the table. She like made this group that made happiness, which is just okay. Like I like it. Don't like I like
It's cute.
happiness. It's cute. But they didn't make waves with happiness. Their first
Yeah, they
real
did.
thing was Ice Cream Cake with Yeri. And when she showed up, I really think she really completed the group. Like she brought a secondary rapper, she brought like also sub vocals. She brought a nice I don't want to say childlike presence, but she also brought that cute maknae factor into it also. And like it's weird, she really rounds out the group. But aside from that, she's also one of like the cute like Filipino word for this is sabog or sabaw. I don't know how to translate that in English, but like there's this gif from Knowing Bros where Yeri's wearing headphones. It's like I'm not listening to you, and like that's seriously like just describes her as
I
a
watched
person.
that. It's like,
It's-
it's for a game. I'm just like, I can't
Yeah.
hear you. It became a meme and I love her for it.
I've seen that before I was a stan. Like that's how big that thing was. But no, that's really her. Like she brings this bundle of energy that I think is unmatched and really completes the group. That's why whenever people say like, "Oh, she adds nothing," no, she adds a lot to the group in terms of presence, in terms of, and like I feel really bad because it's some performances you can tell she's not comfortable because she was getting a lot of hate. But no, I really think Yeri's one of the most like super crucial addition to RV. Like there would not be a Red Velvet if it was just the four of them. I feel like they wouldn't have been as successful. She really rounded them out. And that's why I really appreciate her as a member. But aside from that, like super underappreciated even within the member circle themselves. Like not a lot of fans would know that she had her own release on her. Like it's called Dear Diary. It was about turning 20. It's in like she can actually write and sing. She wrote that song.
Oh, I was gonna ask you if she had a solo or something.
I've
had
heard
one.
of it, but I didn't. I mean,
She
I've
does
heard
have
of
one.
having it, but I haven't.
It's in the playlist.
Listen to
Like
it.
we can, yeah, you can go through it later. I haven't listened to it like a lot, but like I know that it's there. But she's also like aside from like Joy, I didn't mention this. Joy stars in her own drama. She also recently starred in a drama this year called Blue Birthday, and she sang in the OST also. So she's also very active outside of the group. But yeah, these are like my assessment of the five members. If I were to really pick, I'm obviously biased towards the Ani line, the three elder members, but I really appreciate all five of them. I'm not gonna say one member is non-essential. No, it's OT5 ride or die. So that is just a quick assumption today. That's a quick assessment of who they are as members. And I think I've talked a lot. So before we go on to like the song component, how do you guys feel so far about this discussion?
Well, you
I
are
like
not
fangirling.
boring. You
I always
are.
like fangirling.
You're not
And I
boring me,
like-
so
yeah, and I
this
like
episode is going
hearing-
well.
I like hearing all of your thoughts from
I'm not
Jo,
even like
knew
someone
them
who knows
before.
a lot, man. Like I'm
Yeah,
just
no, but it's well,
I
you
guess
know more
I'd
than
have
me,
to listen to all
certainly.
their solos so that I could hear them clear. Because so far the only two that struck me vocally were Seulgi and Wendy. So I'd have to listen to the other three.
if I were to really make like in my playlist, I made like everything I think that they did solo or like as a unit. I feel like if I were to pick like 6 songs to represent each of them, I would go with Like Water for Wendy. Like I know that it's not my favorite, but I feel like it's her best. Like it's a weird thing with me with RV. A lot of my favorites, I will concede, are not their best, but they just resonate more with me as a person. But yeah, it's Like Water by Wendy. For Seulgi, she doesn't have a lot of solos. Surprisingly, I feel like that's way overdue.
Rose.
I would go with Wow Thing with Chungha and the rest. Yeah, so weird, right?
Rose. I like Rose better.
I will listen to
swear.
Rose. I will
You
listen to
haven't
Rose.
heard of it?
I haven't listened to it. Yeah, I'll listen to it. I was
I,
busy
I
last
like
night.
the SoundCloud,
I was
man.
busy last night. Like I'll listen to Rose, but
I don't know. It was good for me. Like I didn't when I first heard of it, Rose. Like I remember. How did I find out about this? I remember just randomly going through Taeyong's SoundCloud because he has a SoundCloud, and then I heard a voice that wasn't a male. It was a girl. So I was like, "Oh, who's this?" He finally had a collab with a with a girl. Because the other collab he has in his SoundCloud, I think it's Baekhyun from EXO. So I was like, "Oh, there's a girl." And then I saw it. Oh, it's Seulgi. I didn't realize it was her because I always thought of her. I recognize her as a really great dancer. So I tend to forget that she's a strong vocalist as well.
that's her main
So when
role.
Yeah.
I know she's the main dancer, but she trained to be a vocalist.
Right? That's the
Ace.
thing with SM. They're weird with that. Like they have a lot of people who are supposed to be rappers who became like singers and stuff. But yeah, so I listened to the song and it was like, oh, I like this. And then I played it again and again. And then when I looked at the credits, I didn't realize that they wrote it together. It was a Seulgi and Taeyong collaboration. They composed it and wrote it together. I'm like, they're really talented, and it saddened me that Seulgi wasn't able to um showcase her composing chops, I guess, because like
I think it's such an SM thing, though, if you think about it.
right,
Like a lot of artists have more freedom in other labels,
Yeah.
but SM is
Yeah,
very
medyo kulong.
Yeah,
Kulong
dude,
sa
like-
SM.
they're very ano kasi,
so overproduced. If I'm being real,
it's true that they want a certain SM-ness, SM sound to their things that sometimes, a lot of times, their artists aren't able to express themselves, so they have to find different avenues of expressing themselves with, not in their albums and stuff. But like, yeah, I mean, it's just, it was a really, really great song, I swear. I don't know,
Yeah.
I kind of like
I'll listen to it.
Taeyong's
Don't worry.
compositions kasi in general. I like them. So it's my jam, I guess. It's
Sige,
by the way,
I
it's
will-
not gonna be an upbeat happy song. Just a disclaimer, because again, I like ballads and
No, I think
slow
that,
songs and stuff.
that makes sense. I think Seulgi's voice is also tailored to that because her other solo that I was gonna mention is Uncover from Irene and Seulgi's Monster album, which is also
I didn't
very.
listen to that yet.
It's good. It's good. It's pretty good. It's not again as hype because I don't know, like it's like the last track or something, but yeah. So okay, we can. So for Seulgi, it's either Rose, Wow Thing, or Uncover. For Irene, again, it's the only, like, again, I'm not sure if it's just me, like, completely just fangirling over Irene again, but no, I really feel like this is where you, like, see her more as a vocalist. I'm not sure if this is true. I think Jonghyun said something like, because they're both SM, like, everybody knows Irene for her visuals, but she actually has, like, a very beautiful voice. It's so underrated. I feel like there are so many songs that showcase Irene's vocal chops in RV, but everybody just knows her as the visual or even the dancer, but not as a vocalist. And I feel like that's such a shame because she has the only, again, I will link that to you guys after this episode. You have to listen to it. It has been stuck in my head the past week. But yeah. For Joy, it's Hello. Obviously, I think that really is her best song. It's a cover, but it really suits her, and it's surprisingly one of the biggest hits of the year. Irene and Seulgi themselves, Naughty should be that song. I know it's Monster, but for me, it's always gonna be Naughty. Yeri, again, yeah, it's Yeri's Dear Diary. And I think that just shows their strengths. I wanted to talk more about the member weird member interactions, but since we're already talking about songs I think it's a perfect segue to go into the song discussion of the episode, because again, that's what attracted me the most to this group. I still have so much to learn in terms of interaction, so I don't have like a lot of like credibility to talk so much about crackhead moments. But when it comes to songs, I feel like that's where I will really gush about them.